but I hear footsteps behind me. I wonder who's trying to sneak up behind me.
It's me.
It's
We're still having issues with the box. Nobody can send you a question. I just sent you a question on Watchman Community from somebody that called.
right. Yeah, we're still having. We have a flash report here that we're still having problems with the Pastor Mike Online website. At least you're able to watch, okay? And we'll try to get that rectified by Thursday. But anyway, back to the news. Here's what is involved in halal certification slaughtering meat. Number one, the slaughterman must be a practicing Muslim. Okay, that's number one. Number two, he must, when he slaughters the animal, he must face Mecca. Okay? He must be facing in that direction. Now, stop right here. In Mecca, if you remember the video that we did, The Mystery of Mecca, Muslims really pat themselves on the back. Oh, we don't worship idols. At least we don't have that going. But they do. They have a great big gigantic idol in the middle of Mecca called the Kaaba. The Kaaba. It's that black cube. And on the corner of that black cube, there is a black stone in a silver thingy. And if if seen any of our videos on symbols, you know what that is. And they bow toward that. They walk by it and kiss it. And that's an idol. It's a stand-in for a god. That black stone represents their god. So the practicing Muslim, when he slaughters the animal, he must be facing, let's see, where's east here? East would be, I need to go to orientation because I'm disoriented. I think east is that way. And so they must be facing in the direction of the idol. Then, when they get ready to slaughter the animal, the words Allah Akbar must be prayed as the animal is slaughtered. Allah Akbar is Allah is great. And the animal must be killed with a sharp knife. These requirements appear to be innocent, but to a Christian they are a serious concern because religious and spiritual actions have a greater effect than is often realized. The article says that Islam is idolatry. The religion of Islam is not consistent with Christianity. Firstly, Islam does not recognize Jesus as the Son of God, and so on and so on and so on. It is statutory idolatry, is what this article says. If there were just a few individuals saying a Muslim prayer, this would not be a serious problem. Muslims should be free to practice a religion. People of other religions are praying everywhere. The problem arises because this idolatry is organized by the New Zealand Meat Board and paid for by meat exporters. And I will tell you that at some point, we're going to start seeing halal certification on products. We already are in this country. And I said this at our church. And I'll say it here, and I'll say it again. If, let's say that the National Biscuit Company, does anybody know who the National Biscuit Company is? Okay? The National Biscuit Company. Nabisco. If the National Biscuit Company starts putting a halal certificate, a little bitty thing, on their boxes of Keebler crackers, don't buy them. Don't buy them. Don't have anything to do with them. Stay away. If they're going to do that to promote Islam that way, I'm not eating. And I tell you what, I don't think there's anything made by Keebler that I don't like. But I wouldn't buy it anymore. Oh, wow. Somebody was able to make it through on the Pastor Mike Online. Some people are getting through and some people are not. Michelle writes, Imam, baseball, and apple pie. This will be the slogan very soon. I agree with you. Okay? It's dangerous. Dangerous out there. What else do we have? New York Times sues the federal government for refusing to reveal its secret interpretation of the Patriot Act. Let's see here. Let me read the article. Actually, where is the article? Here we go. Huffington Post. The New York Times has sued the federal government for refusing to divulge how it exactly uses the Patriot Act. The suit comes after Times reporter Charlie Savage filed several Freedom of Information requests for a classified report about the government's authority to collect intelligence under the Patriot Act and was refused. He made the request after 2 senators charged that Americans would be deeply disturbed by the government's use of the law. Think about that. They refused it. The 2 senators charged that Americans would be deeply disturbed by the government's use of the law, which means that they're doing something that if it were found out, it would be bad for people to find this out. The section of the Act in question allows the government to order the production of any tangible things on reasonable grounds related to an international terrorism or counterintelligence investigation. The lawsuit demands the release of at least a redacted version of the report to explain what that allows. Senators Ron Wyden and Mark Udall have been alleging for months that the government is misleading the public about its secret interpretation. No, the government is not lying to us. How dare they say that? Secret interpretation of the law. In May, Senator Wyden said the American people would be stunned and angry when they find out how the government is using the act. The act has been hotly debated in recent months leading up to a vote that extended the government's controversial post-9/11 powers to search records and conduct roving wiretaps. Roving wiretaps. You know what that means? Random access. You know, we ought to do a random access Bible study. Random access wiretaps. Drive-by listen-ins. Let's see what they're talking about. This is a government mobile listening device. Okay? That's what it is. It's a government mobile listening device. It has, at the top here, a little microphone. Okay? And I'm not making a phone call right now. Okay? But it doesn't matter because this phone is active, connected to a network, and it can hear what I'm saying, whether I'm making a phone call or not. And I always keep mine right next to my voice. That way they can pick up exactly what it is that I'm saying. Okay? It's the world we live in. And they're using it. Let's see here. ACLU okay with prayer in public schools. Muslim prayer, that is. Carver Elementary School in San Diego is possibly going to allow Muslim students to pray in school. Let's see, Muslims all ride on camels. And when a camel gets its nose under the tent, the rest of the camel comes in. Would someone please explain to me why the ACLU, who has fought all things Christian for decades, is not only okay with this, but is calling everyone who doesn't agree intolerant. And I'll have you know that the ACLU will not tolerate anybody's intolerance. According to Kevin Keenan, spokesperson for the ACLU of San Diego and Imperial counties, quote, performing these prayers is widely, if not universally, recognized as one of the 5 essential pillars of Islam. One of these prayer times will always fall during the school day at Carver when students are required by law to be at school. Mr. Keenan, the Quran tells Muslims to do a lot of things we don't want them doing here in America. It isn't religion to them, it's a law. Let's see here. Some ideological groups who seem to prefer culture wars more than honoring constitutional standards for freedom of religion are excitedly writing direct mail pieces to promote sectarian religious agendas, Keenan wrote in a statement on the ACLU website, or Without a Clue website. It is important that the public be aware of the deep ironies and biases in some of their arguments. Okay? See, I I'll tell you this, okay? Once they got rid of Christian prayer in schools, which, you know, back in 1963, that's what they were doing. They were not just removing prayer, they were removing Christian prayer because that was the only prayers being prayed. And then, you know, when you have politicians who are running for office who are saying, if I get elected, I will restore prayer in school. I don't think that's a good idea anymore. You know why? You know why? Because we have too many gods in America. That's why. And I guarantee you, they won't be praying to the right one. My kid will be standing there in class wanting to pray in Jesus' name, and they won't let him do it. Oh, that's going to offend little Muhammad. We don't want to offend Muhammad. We don't want him to feel bad. It's a different world. When I was in first grade, we had a boy in our class named David. Him and his family were Jews. David was allowed to bring to school one day, he was allowed to bring some of the things that they use in their religious worship. He brought a little scroll, and he brought his yarmulke, and he did that. We were going, ooh, ah, oh, wow, that's neat, all cool, you know, first grade. And then by the time we got to high school, we did a Christmas program at school, and we sang a Christmas cantata that was all about Mary, Joseph, Jesus, salvation, the earth being sinners, angels, and the gift of grace to the world. That's what it was all about. I was in the choir at the time. We were singing in the choir, and the National Honor Society was up on stage acting out the nativity scene, and David, the Jew, was Joseph. And Mommy and Daddy didn't have a problem in the world with it. Okay? It's a different world now. I don't want prayer in schools. Don't want it. Because I know who they'd be praying to. And it would not be the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those of you that are getting through on the Pastor Mike online. Ooh! Michelle says Subway sells halal meat. Michelle, send me proof of that. And you will be on the next Watchman video broadcast. Okay? I believe you. I just need I need proof. Terry says, but if any man say unto you, this is offered in sacrifice unto idols, eat not for his sake that showed it, and for conscience sake, for the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. Thank you very much, Terry, for that. Let's see here. Sandy says, love your show. FYI, the warning. A guest was heard on last week's Catholic radio program. She will be on again today. She said, we're all going to see the warning very soon. Quote, unquote, the warning. Something about two comets colliding, a red sky, and a cross appearing. One message was on May 31st, 2011, and it said, prepare now for this event, for you have only a few months left to prepare your souls. The website mentions Garabandal, which is an apparition. Just passing on the info in case you didn't hear about this. I have not heard about that, but I will tell you that any time that the occult or the New Age or the Roman Catholic mystics say, oh, be ready on such and such date, something's going to happen, they're usually wrong. But we'll see. Let's see here. Tim sends me a little nugget from ScienceDaily.com. It says scientists have successfully demonstrated that they can build some of the basic components for digital devices out of bacteria and DNA, which could pave the way for a new generation of biological computing devices. Yeah, biological, you and I are going to be, well, not you and I, but they are going to be the biological computing devices. Let's see here. Hey, Pastor Mike, great show today. Your online question screen is not working, so forwarding this info to you. By the way, you can send me something at, what is my email address there? Pastor Mike Online at PastorMikeOnline@gmail.com. Okay? And it'll get here. Let's see here. The warning. There it is. I already read that. Roxana says, the question is, what are you doing wasting time at some blankety-blank Bible study? The answer is, what are you doing wasting time wallpapering the sewer instead of showing people where the elevator out is? I don't know. Here is the link to find out if the restaurant you like uses halal